Welcome to the Healing H.A.C.K podcast. I'm Wilma Mae, your host. H.A.C.K stands for Healing, Abundance, Connection, and Knowledge, the core elements of real spiritual health. Join us as we explore ancient and modern tools, practices, and approaches for navigating a world that can feel fractured and demanding. You'll hear from experts across spiritual and healing modalities, as well as guests with powerful personal journeys. The goal is simple: to help you build a spiritual toolkit that actually supports your life. Let's begin. Franck, welcome. Thank you for coming and taking part today. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, okay, before we get to who you are and what you do, I wanted to kind of dive in with a question. What is the thing that you have been sitting with lately? Like something that's shaping how you're moving through the world right now? What is that? Do you know anything that you might be experiencing right now?
Yeah. It's interesting because I just turned 50 actually in July.
Happy birthday.
And thank you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm turning 50. And then it was kind of like very freeing in a way. Something about, that was just like liberating.
Yeah.
And kind of all the little pieces that you kind of cultivated through the years and life experiences and kind of just being like, it kind of makes sense.
What was it? What was liberating? What did you release or let go of?
Just the fear of getting older, and just like being more present and enjoying, being more grateful, having, more, feeling full of life. And more connected and just, enjoying myself,
It's interesting because I've heard friends when they get to 50, they have a bit of anxiety around it, what that means, getting older. And I said this the other day, I think, on social media, that when I was a teenager, I had this very strange knowing that I was really looking forward to being in my 50s. I'm 58 now. And I knew, I had a knowing that when I was in my 50s, it would be the best decade ever. I wasn't wrong. And it's because I knew that I was going to have to go through a lot of shit. I was going to have to figure myself out, and that the 20s, 30s, 40s were going to be that time where it was hard, And I finally got to my 50s and I was like, okay, I got this now. And it feels amazing. And, I take care of my health. I eat well and I have a really wonderful life. I'm incredibly grateful. I walk around, do gratitude walks all the time. Whenever I walk out, I'm just thankful for all the little things that without, I would know that life wouldn't be as rich. And I do the practice that I do. So I feel like,
It shows.
Yeah, I feel like
you look
50s,
amazing.
I thank you, darling. But yeah, I feel so grounded and connected. And when really tough things happen, I now have the tools, right, to navigate through them without it being completely devastating. And so I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's the tools,
the
basically.
Tools.
And the tools, you can only know those tools you have your own tools.
Yeah.
So that's just it's special that when you found all those tools.
Well, this is it. You go through this journey to find the tools. This is why I wanted to do this podcast, is because, it's all about the healing. It's all about the abundance and the connection and the knowledge. And so as we gather knowledge and wisdom, we can put what works for us in our toolbox.
Yeah.
Right? So you've done that. So okay, now we get to who are you and what is it that you bring to the world?
And my tools.
And your tools.
So, yeah, my name is Franck Raharinosy. Franck, oui, voilà. Franck, oui.
Bah, il faut dire
oui, en français.
ton nom comme
Franck.
il faut.
And so my mom is French, a little bit Armenian. My dad is from Madagascar.
Okay.
And I've been in New York since 1999. Before I was in an island called Réunion.
Well, yeah, of course.
A French island by South Africa. And I was born in Lyon in France. So kind of like a bit all over. bit all over the place. I lived in Paris for a few years as well, but
Wow.
yeah, it just, you know, I fell in love with New York. I think it was in '97. I came for a week to visit a cousin. I was doing an internship in Los Angeles, and I was just like, wow, this is a special city. I feel like there's a connection here. So I had my whole adult life in New York.
Love that. And it is a special city. I adore it. Yeah. And so tell me a bit about what you do now, and what you offer to the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've done, you know, what I do now. Okay.
Yeah.
What I do now.
Yeah.
So now I've been, you know, I got into sound meditation about maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it, you know, it was a sound bath with psychedelic. And that was my first time, you know, doing any type of psychedelic.
And which psychedelic?
It was MDMA and psilocybin.
Okay.
And there was something about the gong specifically. I mean, all the instruments, but the gong and the vibration and everything, it was just like, wow, this is incredible. Like I could hear every single, you know, overtones. And I was just, it got me so like sucked in and very present. And it helped me a lot actually with the psychedelic, because my mind was so cerebral. I was afraid to lose control. And I remember like this guy next to me was like, you gotta let go.
You could see that you weren't.
Oh yeah, I was having what they call a bad trip, you know.
Oh wow, okay.
And you know, there was nobody to like guide me through anything.
Yeah.
Which is also a bit dangerous, I think. When you do this work, you want extra caring.
Yeah.
And the gong kind of like saved me. It was just like, wow, okay, just come to me, you know.
Really?
And a week after, I bought a gong, and I was just like playing for friends and family and
self-taught.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think everything I learned about the sound was that moment of just listening, practicing deep listening, and letting go of like, you know, like the cerebral that was so like trying to control.
Yeah.
Because you know, I think I built an identity about, you know, to kind of like, yeah, as a protecting like a shelves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to deal with like, you know, trauma, PTSD of, you know, of like childhood and all that. So
all the coping mechanisms.
Yeah. So that moment kind of like all opened up like a window, and then it was pretty amazing, because before that I had done you know, talking therapy for about a decade.
Okay.
And that was helpful, but I was plateauing. So then I got into psychedelic therapy, and that really helped me a lot to go much deeper into my healing journey.
And with the psychedelic therapy, that wasn't with the sound before. You did that with a practitioner.
Yeah, with a sitter.
Okay. With who?
A sitter.
Oh, okay, like, a sitter, yes, that's right.
With a guide. And there was a lot of beautiful moments of, you know, one example, I had a complicated relationship with my dad growing up. He wasn't really, you know, I think he was young and he had his own problems. Mm-hmm. And so he wasn't very present. And I always felt like that sense of rejection. Mm-hmm. And I had this moment with a sitter where I asked the sitter to give me a hug, and I was imagining that was my dad. So my intuition was like, at that moment was like, okay, you gotta like heal the relationship with your dad. So I asked the sitter, I was like, okay, please give me a hug. And I was really like thinking of my dad and like imagining and feeling his love. Mm-hmm. And that moment like just completely healed the whole relationship with my dad. And
so
now,
powerful.
Yeah, so powerful. And he started opening up about his own things and like telling me that his dad wasn't his real dad. And like, you know, he was just I felt his love. and his support like I never felt before. And he probably felt mine too, because I already had some type of resentment towards him. And that was a beautiful moment, and I understood that there's a lot to be done here, to help myself, but also help others through my work.
Yeah.
And as also doing the sound, like you get with people's energy, so you gotta like go deeper yourself as well.
Well, then let me ask you another question, because if you were this cerebral person, were you before you embarked on the journey with psychedelics, did you consider yourself a spiritual person?
So, and I always try to be careful with the word spiritual.
Yes.
But I felt a deep connection to the universe.
Okay.
Like as a child, I would pray to the stars, and I would, I grew up not in the best condition. I mean, my parents loved me, but it's not like we were thriving, So I would just pray for a better life, and I would just, so I felt the connection already. I felt my mom is very intuitive, so I think I get some intuition and sensitivity from my mom. And so if you say that, that's spiritual, then yeah.
I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of the word spiritual because it doesn't technically mean anything, because we are all of spirit. And so in theory, we're all spiritual. But I guess that connection is really what I was aiming for. But yeah, I agree with you on that. And so in your younger life, before you connected with the sound healing, did you do any practices? Was there anything formal that you were involved with before this sort of chapter that you're in now?
So, I mean, yeah, it was, yoga, meditation, definitely. I also, I'm a big tennis player.
Yes, you said that.
And I look at it as a deep practice of mental practice and into the body and all that. So tennis is a big part of my life, actually.
Did you ever play professionally?
No,
okay.
But nice level.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be humble.
I love that. You're very good then.
but yeah, I still play, at some D2 college players level, and it's fun because I still compete. So I'm playing in this ladder, and I lost in the semifinal. There's 70 around good players, so it's fun. I'm having a blast with tennis. But I noticed the mental is so important that I see now. I went from as a child breaking rackets to now pressing my hands by my heart and telling me how amazing I am and talking to my inner child, and things have changed.
Clearly. And but being able to be in that space where you do that that takes a real journey to get there, right? To know when to heal your inner child, to know when to transmute high emotion into something that's not destructive, right? That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So something I always been very curious by nature, and always not being afraid to try new things. I mean, even in business, I started some business that didn't make any sense, and later on, they're still doing pretty well.
Okay. Is this the
ping pong club?
Spin?
Yeah.
It's called Spin, right?
So when we started, people were crazy, ping pong. What?
When did you start that?
2009. Yeah.
And why?
We throw some parties in our apartment, and we just thought that was really cool at the time. We had a big loft. It was a production office, and we ended up having 5 tables in our loft and having those parties every Friday, and people would just show up and play ping pong. So after 2 years, we kind of proved the concept and decided to open the first club.
And it's still open.
Still open 16 years later. I mean, we have 9 locations now.
You have 9 locations.
Yeah.
I can't play ping pong to save my life.
And COVID was hard for us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So if you're watching, please come and support.
Well, I'm going to come now so I can support, and play poorly, but have fun.
No, but we have amazing food. The vibe is great.
Okay.
You know, like.
So you now are because in what you describe as the tools,
a
spiritual. Well, you are a spiritual sound therapist. So can you explain that to me? Because
I keep on changing those names all the time.
Do you?
Like I'm like I don't even know, like energy shifter, like I mean it's tricky to kind of, because it's so abstract, this type of work.
Yeah.
You know, so also like I'm not a therapist.
Right. Yeah.
I'm very interested in psychology. I've always been, and like I say, I've always been very curious. But yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, you know, like the healer word also could be overpowering. The master healer word could be even more overpowering.
Yeah, I understand that.
So like I try to be careful, and because I want this work to be accessible to anybody, and I don't want to feel like I'm in a situation of power.
Yeah.
Because I think too many people try to be gurus,
Exactly.
self-proclaimed gurus. I mean, there's obviously real gurus, but yeah. So I'm trying to like stay away from this whole thing.
I think language is important in these things, and having grown up myself in a contacted mystery school, I found it difficult to find the language to correctly describe what all of that was. It was only recently that I even connected that, it was a mystery school. and I hadn't really, because it was just my life growing up, but how to describe it to people. And my mother never allowed herself to be hemmed in by terms. I would say, well, Mom, how do I describe what it is that you do? And she just said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
You know? And so when friends would say, well, what is it your mom's into? And what does she do? And so the best I had was she was a spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
But it was so much more than that. So I completely understand how, and yet when I'm using the language contacted mystery school now, everyone's like, ooh, what is that? They're intrigued. Mm-hmm. And then it opens the door for a wider explanation, which I didn't have that before, because as soon as I tried to explain, people switched off. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting how the words matter, right?
I could say maybe I'm a mysterious sound practitioner. That would bring people.
You could. Or I think if you say it in French, then people will be like, what?
Mystérieux.
Yeah.
Mystérieux.
But so that would be hilarious. But so tell me a little bit then how you work with people. What is without the names, how is it that people find you? And then with your clients, how do you work with them? What is it that you do, and how do you help them?
So first of all, like in my journey, because I don't really read that much. I feel like I have some dyslexia maybe, or like maybe a little lazy to and get anxious when I see like big books.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned a lot on my own. Mm-hmm. And finding, like you mentioned earlier, like finding all those tools that work, and using my own tool, which is, my own being and my experience and my intuition and my ability to like channeling and tuning in and the connection to the universe that I developed as a child. Mm-hmm. So, but also, I studied psychological acting.
What is psychological acting?
So it's referring to bring, when you have a script, you bring your own life experiences to the script. I'm resuming it short.
Right.
But yeah, so it's like, let's say you have you could tap in, if it's like a love scene, or you're declaring your love to a person, or you could tap into, I was 14 and I was madly in love with this person. And
then you tap back into those feelings.
Yeah. And then you bring it to the lines.
Okay.
But there's also trauma. There's also all type of, it could be heavy.
Yeah.
So I studied that for almost like a decade.
Wow.
And I was really passionate. I mean, I'm still very passionate about that element of acting, because it could be pretty profound, and the experiences you have with other actors it feels very real.
Right.
So I like that, you see. So I even, and then I've done last year I did the Hoffman process. So,
I'm a Hoffy too.
Yeah, so you understand, there's so many great tools, right?
Oh my gosh, that's exactly, it was the first time I had ever done any real work on myself was the Hoffman process.
Hands on hearts.
Hands on hearts. And it totally changed my life.
Yeah.
And it gave me tools. And I started using those tools. I'd never had tools before. I knew a lot of spiritual things, but I didn't know how to order them. I didn't know how to really make them real in my life. Mm-hmm. And Hoffman was the first step on that journey for me. So So you did that last year.
I did that last year, and it was really amazing experience. And I was a great student there. I was like in front of the class, like I was actually surprised because I was like, I don't think I'm going to be a good student. I was like, I was overdoing it. I was so eager to learn. And so, just even integrating those tools, integrating the sound, obviously, because the sound is very dear to me. And there's a lot of things you can unlock with just the sound.
Right.
And the breathing, like some breathwork technique, holotropic breathing, some gentle breathing, just like having people scan their own body. And literally heal themselves.
Yes.
Because we all like master healers of our own body, our own temple. So just have them knowing when to take care of themselves or to ease whatever pain and trauma and having a somatic experience.
Yeah.
Some inner child, a lot of inner child work. Caring, making themselves feel safe, giving them the tools so they could feel safe. Because, that's the thing, when you start having anxiety and you don't feel safe as a child,
yes,
you're not going to feel safe as an adult. So you have to learn to what are the tools to feel safe?
Yes.
What should I do? And so during the session, we're able to really tap into that. I'll give you an example.
Please.
If somebody at 5 years old was alone in the house, there's a noise, they were scared, they called for mommy or daddy, but nobody showed up because maybe they didn't hear or whatever, then that anxiety and that stress is gonna, when you're 5 years old, it's gonna be insane. I mean, even as an adult, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? So what we do is that have them relive that moment specific and go deep and feel that fear.
Yeah.
And then we could do role play. And I'm like, okay, call whoever you want to come. And, they say, I want mommy to come. Then, there's a whole dialogue and to make them, feel safe. I'm there for you. You're never alone. I'll protect you, so kind of give a hug, stuff hold my hands. So all those things, then you completely rewire the neuropathic waves.
In one session? It can happen in just one...
In one moment.
In one moment.
In just that moment,
Yeah.
So that's major, because then after when you don't feel safe, you could tell yourself, you could speak to yourself and say, you're safe, I love you, I care for you, you're not alone,
Yeah.
You could just tell that to yourself, and then it's just a release.
Yes.
I mean, so little things like this just makes a big difference. And then, the releasing with the breathing, with a sigh, the sound of the sigh for me is the most healing sound. This is when the healing happens.
Yeah.
When there's this sound, it's a complete release of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage people to, during the session, even, sound meditation, just if a sigh comes, don't release it.
Yeah.
Some vocalization to find your own voice, because, people, it's hard to find your own voice, to be heard.
Yes.
So a lot of vocalization, I play the shuri box, have people really sound ah, oh, and then even sing.
Yes.
But project
Yes.
Not like being, because a lot of people are like shy to, they're like, oh, my voice is not pretty, or like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, it's okay. Just like go for it. Like, but and bringing a sense of humor I think to the session is amazing. Like humor to healing is everything.
I agree with that.
So
that's powerful too.
I just try to be myself, and I think I'm pretty funny, so I might as well use it too.
So people can come to your sound meditation practices because you practice around New York, and then they can come to see you personally.
Yeah. So I do private, I do groups.
One of the things that I really wanted to ask you was, what if you could redesign the way that modern culture treats healing, not the industry, right, but the mindset around wanting to heal? What's the first thing that you would burn down, and what would you put in its place?
So, we talk about SSRI and all that. I mean, I think in certain case, they're very important. Mm-hmm. But, if you can sleep and you take SSRI, it's like, it's going to really like be great. So I think there's a lot of things we could do to heal trauma, to solve, with more like
holistic methods.
Holistic methods. It's we don't have to like be so hard, and I think it's just a matter of like being more gentle with ourselves and listening to our body, and like being like, okay.
How do you know if a practitioner is any good and safe? Because I've heard of a lot of people into this space in the last decade, right, that have come into the healing space. And that's great, but there's no governing body, right, that we know that person is well themselves, has done the real work to train and to cultivate their practice. And, and I've always wondered, like, how do I know if I'm going down to explore this road? How do I know who to trust?
Well, I think it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
And you have to like, the results speak for itself. If you see a change, if somebody that's done that work with this person, and then you'll be inspired to maybe like try yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, that was my experience I did ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I was always fearful of doing psychedelics. But my husband did ayahuasca several times, and in Holland. And so I thought, okay, maybe it's time for me. And I knew that the place that he went to was safe and well-respected.
No.
And so I went and had my experience, and it was transformational. It was really, life-changing.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing medicine.
Yeah. And so that's interesting. So word of mouth is really the best way for people to ascertain if a practitioner is, has got the skills and the heart that they need.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't see any other way. Because you could even go to like a center, right?
Yes.
And then if that has great reputation, but then if one practitioner is not great, it's also like, you know.
That's so you with your background in sports and business and all of these things that you bring into the work that you're doing, right? Is this now, I mean, first of all, is this your full-time work with the sound healing?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still involved with spin, but definitely, I mean, it's something that I'm really focusing on, to the sound and to work with other people and the retreat and all that. So.
And where do you do retreats? You do them just in New York, or do you do
a
them
bit all over?
All over.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of that is going to be on your website, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you talked about humor, one of the things that came up for me was that there's a sense of play, right? And I think one of the things that I know I wanted to cultivate in myself was I was always quite serious, and one of the things that ayahuasca did for me was I felt a deeper sense of being able to play.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? You bring that into the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Because I mean, you've got you have your background with tennis, which is play, but it's also competition.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got play, you've got heart, you've got spirit.
Well, like in the Hoffman, the quadrinity.
The quadrinity.
The quadrinity. So the
God, remind me.
Emotional self.
Yes.
The body, the intellect, and the spiritual guide.
Yes.
So
it's been a long time since I did Hoffman.
So those, like, definitely, I mean, this is to check in with all those four. So it's really nice.
Yeah. No, it's really, that's really good. And then
it's a great tour, actually.
It's interesting. I did some work with Hoffman during the pandemic. I started a nonprofit for mental health for women of color, giving away free therapy. And we did some online mini Hoffman sessions for folks. And I think it's definitely one of those things that you need to do in person, for sure. And you did that here in the U.S., yeah?
I did it in Connecticut.
In Connecticut, yeah. I did mine in the U.K.
Okay.
15 years ago. That was something. And so in terms of, so if you had to leave people with just one shift that they can do in their lives, for someone, let's say, who hasn't started on their healing journey, who knows that they need to do something, what is it that you would suggest, whether it's go and take a sound bath meditation, or experience that, or is it something else? Like, because it can be really scary to have to go into yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know where to start, so I'm always interested in how each person would do that. What would you suggest for someone to just starting on their journey?
I would just say cultivate some type of awareness. And when you feel like the anxiety is kicking in, you start spinning around, and you need to slow down yourself. Just lay down and put some meditation music, relaxing music, or any music that's going to be like relax your nervous system. Close your eyes and just take deep breath and press your hands by your heart. And just do that. Just start by that. Start by doing that. You don't need to take a class. You don't need to have an expensive workshop or whatever. Just do that.
Yeah, and repeat.
And do and start practicing that and getting to know yourself, getting to know your body.
Yeah.
I mean, I see now even on the tennis courts, I'm in a situation, I lose a point that was important, I make a mistake, and the minute I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. Okay. Speak to your inner child, just little things.
Yeah.
Little things, but again, somebody has to tell you those things, otherwise, you're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I love to work with kids too.
Okay, so you do work with kids.
Yeah, so I started a non-profit as well called Do It With Your Heart.
Oh, wow.
And it's I go to unprivileged, school, or I did a boxing gym for kids in the Bronx the other day. And I guide meditation for them, sound meditation and all that, and then I share those tools with them. So when they go back home and they if there's stress with the parent or whatever, they know what to do.
How what was their reaction? What was their experience? Did any of them share?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, each time, but there's always the troublemakers that are like gonna laugh and like try to disrupt things, but there's, you know, it's like 1% of them.
Right, of course.
Right. But, and then, you know, all those kids came and they were so grateful and they had so many questions and.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So they loved it, and yeah, so they share, you know, different instruments that they liked and scent and all that.
I actually have a friend who works with the school systems to bring more mindfulness practices into the school system here. I should introduce the two of you.
Yeah, please. That would be great. Yeah. So I really believe like that there's a lot to be done there. So yeah, so you know, I started it a few months ago.
Okay.
And yeah,
that's wonderful.
I need help if somebody knows how to get grants to, like, you know, cause
I have some tips for you.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because I would love to, like, this, you know, to pay the facilitator to like start going out there and like, you know, teach the kids or like play for them and all that, because I think it makes it, and also people in needs. It doesn't have to be just kids. It could be like, you know, like anywhere that's needed. Yeah,
100%. That's, and I imagine also that could be helpful in hospitals.
Yeah. So I also volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House.
Okay.
And that's really nice, because there I do it for the parents.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
wow, the parents need it.
They need it, yeah, and it's an amazing organization.
Yeah. So
it's really nice to be able to like give back.
I love that. That's amazing. And so when we were talking about that experience, I wanted to circle back to what you had shared with me before we started filming about your experience with the Sourdough Intention water that I gifted you.
Yeah.
And what that experience has been like for you.
It's been really nice to, first of all, I love the smell, and just, you know, like, I'm a water sign, so like when I take a shower, it's also like my moment to clean off the energy. Or even when I walk with people, like I wash my hands, or like I clean, you know, I take a shower to really clean off all that energy. Mm-hmm. And then after the shower, I have this moment, very intentional moment of reconnecting with my body, and, you know, just like tapping into that intention that I have, and then to just have this ritual that's, you know, I mean, you program yourself, like it's really nice. And then a few things, you know, happen. I mean, I think it's a combination of like my intentions and also the magic of whatever. I'm really into the smells and the intention that's you and your ancestors put into this beautiful product. Yeah. So the combination is just really amazing, and it's been really nice, actually.
That's wonderful.
So I try to do it on a daily basis.
You'll find the cadence that works for you, right? Sometimes it's every day, and then for me, sometimes I use mine every day, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, I feel like energetically I need to slow down because there's a lot of intensity starting now, and so sometimes I take a break for a few days or a week, and then I go, okay, now let me start again. But you have to kind of get used to the rhythm of that.
That's something definitely I want to, you know, introduce to my client, because I think it's part of integration. It's like, you know, now you did this work, what are the intentions for, you know, for after? So that could be part of integration, like a beautiful gift to them and to themselves. So.
Yes. I feel that, you know, the type of scent is powerful for the mind and for helping us to focus on the things that we want to call into our life. But the type of scent is really important. And the feedback that I got from friends and even strangers that used Sourdough or that smelled it for the first time was that it reminded them of something. Now, some of the people could recall what it reminded them of. It was usually something from childhood. It was usually a good memory. And some people couldn't remember at all, but it definitely was like, that reminds me of something.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it would bring up emotion for them. And it was usually something that they were suppressing or, they had under control, like we were talking about, having that, controlling mind so that you can live in the world and be able to do every day and try and keep it down. But that was actually kind of bringing it up, which I think is in the right environment can be a good thing. If it brings up something that you need to start working with. But I try and tell folks the first few times that you use it, it's best to do it in private or with someone like yourself, a practitioner. And that way you are in a safe place normally. But I'm pleased to hear that you enjoyed the experience with it.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, of course I love it, but it's been a really powerful force in my life as well. And there have been times when I didn't use it because I took it for granted, right? I thought, it's always been part of my life. And so I don't need to use it. I'm spiritual anyway, or I'm, some silliness I was telling myself. But then when I look back at my life, and I think I shared this with you before, I realized that all the times when my life was a shit show, I hadn't been using it. And the quality that I give it is that in and of itself, it's just a combination of ingredients. But that, like you say, combined with intention work, combined with grounding yourself, and that work makes that work more powerful and more effective in that way. That's kind of how I see it for myself. And so when I'm doing that personal daily ritual, which will include either meditation or a small ritual when I come out of the shower to do my intention work with the sourdough and the smell, and that just amplifies it for me. And then I find that my life tends to kind of, I'm not saying completely smooth, but when the bumps come, I find that I'm much more resilient and I'm able to kind of roll with the punches a lot better.
Yeah. So it gets you like in a more of a flow state.
More of a flow state.
Flow of life. And
we have your website. And where are you on social media?
So on social media, Soul Through Sound.
Soul Through Sound.
And under my name as well.
Okay. And how do you pronounce your last name properly?
Raharinosy.
Raharinosy.
I mean, properly, actually, because it's a name from Madagascar, you would say Raharinosy.
Raharinosy.
Which means native from the island. Yeah, so...
Okay.
So that's...
Okay.
Franck Raharinosy.
Yeah, I can say Franck. Raharinosy.
You got it. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful to see you.
It's lovely seeing you too.
And it's so great what you do. So
thank you. And I'm definitely coming to one of your classes soon.
Please.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for listening to The Healing Hack. If this conversation resonated, subscribe, leave a review, and share it. You can find me at The Healing Hack on Instagram. And for more on cultivating personal ritual in your life, and to discover the products we are creating to support that, follow Sourdough at Sourdough Official on Instagram and at Sourdough Rituals on TikTok. Until next time.